Last year, BLUETTI released two units that we really liked, the Apex 300 and the Elite 400. Both of these units are interesting in the fact that neither one of them is trying to be anything that it's not in a world where it seems like every company is trying to do more and more and more. These units both did less, and they did less on purpose. They're unique in their own ways. They're both almost the exact same price, but they're for two completely different people. So welcome back to the lab where our opinions cannot be bought. We have full review videos on both of these power stations already on the channel if you're interested in getting a little bit more information on either one. We will also leave links to both of these units as well as any discount codes that we can get out of BLUETTI to help save you guys some money in the description down below. And the good news about that, in our video on the Elite 400, a lot of you guys were saying that it was only available in the US, and it looks like as of the time of filming, both of these units are now available in both the US and Canada. So if you were looking for one of these earlier and you couldn't get your hands on it, it looks like you should be able to do that now. But either way, we are here to answer one question for you guys today, and that is which one of these units is best for you. So here's where we start with both these power stations. They pretty much have complete opposing specs. The Apex 300 is a 2,764 watt-hour battery with a 3,840 watt inverter. The Elite 400 is the complete opposite. It has a 3,840 watt-hour battery and a 2,600 watt inverter. The Apex 300 is expandable, so you can add more batteries to build a bigger system. The Elite 400 is not. The Apex has up to 4 kilowatts of solar input, whereas the Elite, you can only do up to 1,000 watts of solar input. And when it comes to plugs and ports, both are pretty minimal. The Apex 300 has your 420 volt plugs across the front right here. You have a couple different 240 volt plug options along the side, mainly designed so that you could plug this thing into a transfer switch, but you could run a 240 volt appliance directly off the unit. And the Elite 400 is very similar. It has 420 volt house plugs on the front. You have your 12 volt car socket. You have some USBs and USB-Cs across the front. Everything you would expect in a power station that's meant to be a little bit more portable. But that's pretty much it. Aside from a solar input and an AC power input, there's really not a lot going on here. Both work pretty well with BLUETTI's app, and both of these are basically the same price. Right now, they're both about 1,400 bucks. Still, if I had to spend my hard-earned $1,400, here's the power station that I would buy. I'd spend my money on the Apex 300. If I needed a unit that could do 240 volts, or if I was looking for more of a set it and forget it solution. This is a perfect unit to throw in a garage, a utility room, or a shed, and just plug it into a transfer switch and let it do its thing. It has enough power to power 240 volts, like a dryer or your oven or whatever it is within your home that you're trying to power. Health and Safety actually threw one of these in a pool shed, and it basically powered all of his tools while he was building the shed and everything in that shed moving forward. Basically, this power station is good for a light home backup or an off-grid application where you're not really gonna move it around once you set it up. And this thing is unique in the fact that it doesn't offer tons of plugs and ports. If you buy this thing and you're looking for USBs, you have to get the adapter. It comes with USB A's and C's as well as 12 volt car sockets. They know that most people who buy this probably don't need these, so to keep the cost down, they took them off. And if you buy it and decide that is something that you want, you can just buy the adapter to add them to the unit. And like we already kind of mentioned with the plugs, there's only 4. There's a couple 240 volt plugs on the side that are meant to be run directly into a transfer switch. But if you want to take this around or put it in an RV or something like that, you still do have access to enough plugs to do so. And your battery capacity sounds small on a unit like this, but it's designed to be stacked with expansion batteries. It's meant to pair multiple units or one unit with multiple expansion batteries to build that system up to where you need it. For example, right now you can buy a bundle of this. It comes with 2 units and 2 expansion batteries and that hub, and it's about $5,400, which gives you 11 kilowatt hours of battery and over 7,000 watts of inverter. That's basically the same as a Delta Pro Ultra with 1 inverter and 2 batteries, but the Delta Pro Ultra with the similar specs is about 600 bucks more at $6,000. I'd spend my hard-earned money on the Elite 400 if I needed a small inverter with a big battery. If I was looking for something that's easily portable and something that offers 120 volts only. This power station is unique in the fact that normally an inverter and battery capacity kind of go hand in hand. usually if you have a 3000 watt hour battery, you'll have roughly a 3000 watt inverter. So traditionally, if you were buying a small power station and you wanted more battery capacity, you'd have to buy expansion batteries, or you'd have to spend more money up front and get a unit with way bigger inverter than you actually need just to get the bigger battery capacity. This power station is basically like a smaller Elite series with an expansion battery paired together into one unit, which makes it really efficient. You don't have to overpay for an inverter that you don't need, and because it's built into one package, you don't have to lug around a power station and a separate expansion battery. You get your nice suitcase handle and your wheels. And speaking of the suitcase handle and wheels, this is actually one of the nicest like portable power stations that we've had at the lab in the last year. Everything is very nice, soft touch rubber. It works well. It feels solid. Like this handle is very rigid. It doesn't feel like it's bending. A lot of the other ones are kind of junk. It's got the nice feet. It's meant to be laid down or stood up. It's not overly complicated and it just works. This power station would be great in an emergency. You could wheel it into your house and keep your fridge running, some lights, any kind of small appliance that takes 120 volts, or throw it in the back of your truck, in your trailer, whatever it is, take it camping with you. You got power on the go. Very nice power. And in both of those situations, even though you don't need to run a ton of gear, it's got enough battery capacity to last you a couple days. So at the end of the day, if you still don't know what power station you need, go ahead and take the quiz in the description down below. It takes 30 seconds and it gives you an instant recommendation based on your needs. Otherwise, make sure you're subscribed. It's a free way to support the channel, and we will leave any discounts or anything for either of these units in the description down below. That's all we got for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. Peace out and stay charged.